Hey guys, it's Kat, and before I get into this video, I wanted to tell you guys a little bit about my Patreon. Patreon is the platform that essentially enables me to do this full time, and Patreon is where I also feel like I can have my most direct interaction with my audience. On Patreon, I upload these vlogs about my life and also about my work, all the shit that I'm bubbling up over here on my end, and I really have appreciated the space for allowing me to vent and get it out there. And also, I post a lot of my content early there. I do the same over on YouTube members, where really the only difference between my YouTube members and my Patreon is on my Patreon, I post more personal vlogs and such, but on my YouTube members, I do members only live streams just like this one. I record a live stream before I go live, which is kind of a public one for everyone. And then when I do my more involved topics, I do another live stream that is going to be for members only. I just created the new tier for that. It's the Spark tier. So if that's something you guys are interested in, please feel free to join me over there. Additionally, YouTube is where I do end up backlogging my live streams after they've gone live. So if you're ever wondering what this video you see later was like when it was filmed live, you can go and check those out as well. Anyway, on that note, we're gonna get into this video and we've got a lot to talk about.
Next time someone asks me why I'm single in LA, I'm literally just gonna show them this video. So I meet this guy, we're texting for about a week, and then finally we're like, okay, let's hang out, let's do something. So he invites me over. He's like, we can have wine or something to drink by the fireplace outside and like order food. I'm like, okay, that sounds chill. Like normally I wouldn't go to a guy's house on the first date, but whatever, let me be open-minded. So day one comes around, he orders me an Uber, I go over and it's very chill. He's a really like nice, successful, smart guy. I'm like, okay, I kind of fuck with him. So I'm just strictly getting to know him at this point, that's it. He ends up telling me like, why don't you come over tomorrow? We can go swimming and in the jacuzzi. And so I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm down. So he orders me an Uber back home. And at this point, I'm like, okay, he's pretty chill. Today too, he's texting me, but the vibe's a little off. Like it's not the same energy as it was. And I woke up with the craziest anxiety. I barely ate. I felt sick. I was like, wanted to cry. So that's your sign to always listen to your intuition. But he ends up calling me and invites me over. He's like, hey, my friend's here, like, it's a girl, like, we can all hang out together. And I'm like, oh, okay, like, it's just your friend? And he's like, yeah. And call me naive, but I have guy friends that I hang out in with groups, like small groups, so I'm like, okay, whatever. So he orders me an Uber, I go back to his, and I get there and I immediately am like, okay, this is like a little bit weird. So we're all talking, chilling, they're smoking hookah. And the jacuzzi's heating up, so we order a bunch of food. And then finally we go outside in the jacuzzi, and he goes inside for a second, so it's just me and the girl. And obviously I'm like, wait, is there something going on between you two? Like, what's the vibe? And she's like, yeah, we've been talking, like, we literally just before this. And I was like, there is no way. The day before, he's talking to me about how it's so hard to trust someone and cheating and blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, oh my God, like what? And she's like, yeah, he just called you. Like, I didn't know what was going on. So he comes back. And at this point, I'm like disassociating in the jacuzzi. I'm like, what is going on? So I'm like silent. I'm like checking my phone, seeing Ubers. I'm like, I think I should just leave, but it's like $70, $80. And I'm like, wait a minute. He put me in this situation, like, let me think about this. I'm like, let me just sit here, enjoy my night, eat my sushi, and have him order me an Uber back home. And I want to say something to him. I really wanted to go off on him right there, but I felt bad for the girl. Like, she was in more vulnerable of a position than I was. And so I didn't want to make her feel any more uncomfortable. Like, I didn't do anything with this guy. So I'm sitting there silent, giving the driest responses, and at this point he's starting to be like, what's wrong? Are you good? Like, what's wrong? And I just am like, nothing, it's chill, like, I'm fine. So the food finally gets here and I eat my meal. So we go back inside. I'm like, okay, can you order me an Uber home now? So he's like ordering it. The girl's about to leave also. And so the Uber gets here. So we walk outside. It's just us two at this point. And I'm like, hey, can I tell you something? And he's like, yeah, what's up? I'm like, can you do me a favor and never invite me over to hang out with the girl you're literally fucking before this? And he was literally shocked, like his mouth dropped. He did not think that she told me. So he just instantly starts denying it, be like, what are you talking about, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, do you think I'm stupid? I know what's going on. And he's still denying it, but I'm like, this is just straight up disrespectful. Like, you're weird as fuck. I'm really happy I said something, but I'm like, you're weird. And I was like, okay, bye. And I just walked into my Uber Blaque, as he should. But yeah, that's the craziest dating experience I've ever had. That was so short-lived. Thank God. God showed me that in the span of 2 days. But literally every time I ask for a guy, the universe is like, oh, you thought the last guy was bad? Let me one-up it. So this is my official resignation of dating. I'm tapped out. This shit is not for me. And I swear, this only happens to me. Like, I have the craziest stories, but this definitely tops everything. And, you know, now it's funny, but I hope you guys enjoyed. Bye.
I thought that story was so funny because I've literally had this experiences so many fucking times. I mean, I'm a polyamorous person, right? Like, I am not opposed. Yeah, I am. Let me just be honest. Like, I do like to be the star of the show, so I kind of am opposed to the particular scenario outlined in this video. But but the thing that always gets me about these dudes is like, you can literally just say that that's what you want. Like, you don't have to like try to trick me into having a threesome, you know? And it's so annoying because, you know, a lot of men, the problem that I've had is that a lot of men have this way of like thinking about women's sexuality, and they're like, oh, like women are like naturally fluid. You know, like most women are like naturally fluid. They have this like idea about the fluidity of female sexuality. And it's like, baby, I'm as solid as ice personally. I might get a little drippy here and there, but like at the end of the day, I stay in my solid state of only being attracted to men. You know, I think the closest I get to being attracted to someone who's not a man is like kind of appreciating a guy who can wear, you know, a little bit of makeup and a little bit of like fanciness. Like, I am unfortunately not going to ever like look at the hot girl that you know and be like, yeah, I'm so ready to go to, you know, town on her. It's just not something I want to do. And it's aggravating to me because I've been in a lot of situations where people really want to get me to like be open to it, be into it. And it's like, at the end of the day, I know what I like. And I thought I communicate. Like, what bothers me about this is like, I always communicate to people very clearly how I feel about certain things. I always communicate very clearly that I'm not attracted to this. I'm only attracted to that. Yes, I know that I don't like women. Yes, I know that I don't like women. It is something I'm very aware of. Incredibly aware of, love. I am very aware of it. Very aware of it. It is not because women are unattractive. It's not because women aren't, you know, great. It's like, I just don't feel that way about them. I've had so many debates and arguments about this shit. And it really sort of points out to me, like being a person who is sex positive, who is a person who is always around people who are having threesomes and foursomes and things like that. People think that that like the best way to do it is like in this porn kind of way where like, yeah, like we're just hanging out at the same time with each other. And like, you know, you're here and she's here. And like, well, I like you both. So like, why not, man? Like, why not? And it's like, because I don't want to. Because I told you I'm not into that. Because I'm not actively attracted to that. Because if we were going to have a threesome, first of all, it wouldn't be with another woman. It would be with another man. You know what I mean? Like, maybe if you know, it's like, and too many of the people looking for this shit, too many of the people that want this stuff, it doesn't matter what the woman wants. And let me tell you, men who have women as partners, who like the idea of, you know, doing this shit, right? if you do it in a way that satisfies her, I promise you're going to have a better time. I promise that you're going to have a better time. You know, like the men in my life who are always having threesomes, who are always, you know, having foursomes, who are, you know, able to get their, you know, that girl that they're with to go, you know, go down on another girl. They center female pleasure. They center what a woman is satisfied by, right? A lot of these guys, they want, like, what I've had to learn over time is that too many men understand sex through this sort of game of like not quite getting consent. I'll just be frank. Like a lot of dudes, like they don't want to get consent. They actively resent the idea of like needing to get consent. They actively resent it. And it is kind of like it's a thing that's kind of shifted my way of looking at men, if I'm being frank. Like it's crazy to like being in the position I'm in where I'm a poly person. I have the ability to explore. I have so many conversations with men where it's like, when they hear me talk about my stuff, my polyamory, it's almost like because it's honest, because it's not some situation where someone's getting tricked or misled or someone's cheating, it's like it's less appealing to them. You know what I mean? That is so weird to me because I think the best scenario for you to be in, if you're into this sort of shit, is one where everyone is on the same page, but it's like they want to win. They want to be able to convince these two women who probably don't want to have sex with each other to have sex with each other for their pleasure. And look, I've known many women who have been pressured into situations like that. I've been pressured into many situations like that. And I think the thing that turns me off is just the fact that people aren't blunt about it. I've had situations where I've sat across from someone and extensively told them that I'm only attracted to men. Bluntly stated it and been like, yes, and this is the thing I know for a fact I don't want. And they'll still try to like weasel in and be the exception. And look, I'm sure that there are a wide, massive range of people who are still discovering themselves for whom maybe they need a bit of prodding, but I'm not one of them. I know what I like. I know what I'm into. I know what I'm attracted to. And it aggravates me how frequently men treat it like I don't. You know, they treat me like I don't. You know, especially with this shit. Like the threesome thing, it's always like, well, just try it. Just try it. Just try it. I've been in group sex situations where a woman joined without my consent. It was not something that I enjoyed. It actually felt like a fucking betrayal. It felt like this woman was doing the work of this man to coerce me into something I didn't want to fucking do. That's what it felt like. And it felt like it was all done to satisfy this ego where my boundaries suddenly don't matter because I don't deserve them, I guess, because I'm not the person who's the most loved in the room. You know, like in it, Frank, and I don't want to impress this idea on you that like I have a negative feeling about all these things. It's not. It's just the fact that so many of these people, what they get off on more than anything is the lack of consent. Like there's people that actually enjoy the idea of like someone who didn't want to do it, doing it more than they enjoy the idea of someone who's actively seeking it out, doing it and having it be consensual. And that is something that's very scary for me. It's something very, very scary for me. There's so many people who see sexual conquest, AKA for a lot of people, tricking someone into doing something they don't want to do or pressuring them into doing something they don't want to do as like a thing that makes them feel more, you know, complete as a person. And it's a little aggravating to me. And you know what? This is a thing. I'm sure it happens everywhere. But in LA, you've got these people that like, you know, they really think it's a free for all. They really think it's a free for all, especially like someone like me, right? Like being an openly polyamorous person, people automatically assume that I'm a promiscuous person. And I'm not going to say that I don't get more than most. I mean, I do have 3 boyfriends, right? But that's not what it's about. You know, I was telling this guy on Field today that I did a bonfire this weekend with all of my boyfriends. And he was imagining like, you know, that we were like on the beach, you know, like doing like a sex ritual with each other, you know, like it's like, you know, doing a whole thing, you know, we're around a fire and we're like, you know, it's like a sex thing. We're like, ooh, you know, it's like, it's that whole thing. No, it was just us at a bonfire. Literally just Nathan, Alexander, and Edward, Alexander's wife and her friends, and some of Alexander's coworkers all hanging out at the beach doing a bonfire. That's all it fucking was, you know? But for these people who think that polyamory is all about that, they're like, oh my God, like, you guys must be like having group sex and fucking and all. It's like, no, we're just hanging out. And he didn't say, this guy in this video, he didn't say, you know, I'm also talking to this other girl. She's cute. You're cute. You know, if you're open-minded, maybe we can, you know, have a glass of wine and see where it goes. That would have at least given her the opportunity to make her own decision, right? But I'm not at all mad at her. I am not at all mad at her for staying there, eating her food, and making him order an Uber Black on period. You know, one of the things I'll be very real about, I don't have a lot of regrets in my life, but I would say that one of my almost universal regrets is when I was a little 21-year-old, when I was a little 19-year-old, when I was a little 18-year-old, these dudes, oh my God, bitch, I wish, you see, if I could go back in time as an older version of me, I would slap myself and say, bitch, you better get something out of this. Bitch, you better get something out of this. You better get something out of it because they're getting a steal. They're getting a steal. You're young. You're hot. He's old. His dick doesn't even work. No offense. But you're here. You know what I mean? Not to be disrespectful, you know, everyone's penis works differently or whatever. But like, there were so many men, like when I was younger, that I spent time with, and it's like, bitch, you didn't get shit from that but trauma. I got nothing from that but like a loose butt and trauma. You know? and literally get something from it. Like, and I know that people don't like to talk about it like this, but y'all, I'm telling you, if you're a young woman who's even entertaining the idea of being with a much older man, get something from it. I don't give a fuck if these guys try to make you feel bad about it. I really don't. Get something from it. I don't care. You know, don't listen to him bitch and moan to you about how women just try to use him or whatever. You know, don't be the pick me and accept nothing. You know, look, these guys, like, I'm telling you, and you're going to look back at it and you're going to see it. You're going to see it. You're going to realize like, oh, okay. These old ass men, they got me like right at like a moment where, you know, I had do and you know what I mean? And it's just, I'm just telling you guys, get something from it. You see all these pictures behind me? I didn't hang up a single one of them. There's nothing in this house that I've hung up myself. Okay. I had to learn to date men who were bare minimum willing to make me comfortable. You know, I'm not trying to be like, oh my gosh, you know, sprinkle, sprinkle or whatever. I'm just saying like, don't feel bad. See, that's the thing. There are times in my life where I would feel bad about eating that guy's food. You know, I would feel bad about it. That's what the pick me shit will do. Like you're over here feeling bad because he got you some food, right? Meanwhile, what you're going to get traumatized by this guy. Like, you know, bare minimum, you know, maybe don't do it, but I'm saying like, if you're gonna get something from it, get something from it. I like when I think about like my ex who I was with for 6 years, girl, what did I get from that man? Trauma, you know, trauma. You know what I mean? Trauma. And that's it. And that's what most men have been in my life. You know, if you're not a net positive in my life, I don't want you around it. Truly. And I'm thankful that I've met the people that I've met. You know, my partners love me very much and they all are always a positive. But, you know, when you're young, a lot of these guys, they're dating you because they want to take advantage of you. They really do. You know, there's nothing I want with a person who's younger than like 29, really. You know, like not really. And so the older I've gotten, the more I've been able to see, because I am currently the age of the men that I used to date regularly. You know, like when I was a little 19-year-old, I used to think it was so cute that I was with these 35-year-old men. Girl, I thought I was so sexy and hot and just everything was, you know what I mean? Like, girl, dead ass. I used to be so like you couldn't tell me shit, baby. You really couldn't. But if I could go back and slap myself a few times, I would really say, look, first of all, there's a lot of them out there. There's a lot of them out there. And you're, first of all, let's start here. First of all, you're hot. Let's just start there. You're hot. Okay? There's no reason for you to entertain that guy who's just okay. To you, whatever your personal feeling of that is. You're hot. You can accept what you actually like, right? There are too many men out there for you to feel like you have to hang out with this person. You know, no matter how interesting that they may be, there's really no reason unless you actually feel good about it. I wish that I could tell my younger self to be a lot more careful about the people who you give yourself to, the energy that you give to them, all this other shit. Because at the end of the day, most of these men are lying. That's the thing that I've had to kind of really recognize. And keep in mind, I'm seeing some people in the comment section that are trying to mention other genders. I only date men. I'm sure a lot of what I'm saying applies to all genders, frankly. If I were a young man dating an older woman, I would think the same thing. You know, you just need to recognize that a lot of times these guys are not trying to date you because like you're, you know, actually very interesting and whatever. They're trying to take advantage of you. They are trying to take advantage of you. So I'm saying, like, you know, be aware, and if you're going to engage, get something from it. And I know that like that's not probably what some people want me to say. And I'm sure that it wasn't politically correct. I'm sure. I'm positive. But I'm telling you what I would have told myself. I'm telling you what I would have told myself. Someone says, but what do we do if we aren't conventionally hot? I promise you, you are. And what is convention? Fuck convention. The convention is actually just how you value yourself. When I say I'm hot, I mean, I like myself. When I look at myself, I think I'm cute. If I feel that way and other people feel that way, right? There are probably going to be, of those people, better choices in that pile than the guy who's trying to get me to fuck this girl he's also fucking. You know what I mean? So when I say hot in general, it's really about how you feel about yourself. It has nothing to do with convention. It has everything to do with you embracing yourself and literally accepting that you have value. Accepting that you have value. The more you start to see your own value, the more you start to understand that you are actually worthy, the more attractive you're going to seem to other people. And I'm only saying that because a lot of times when you make decisions to hang out with like the guy that's kind of okay, what do you often say to yourself? Like, you know, he's cute and, you know, he thinks I'm cute. So like, let's go for it. You can think he's cute and you could still be cute. And this could still not be the right guy for you. You're cute enough. You're hot enough to stick to what your standards are, whatever they may be. I'm telling you, it's just so important to recognize that a lot of times these dudes, like, first of all, look, men don't last very long with me when they're bullshitters because I'm the sort of person that's like, all right, prove it. And I will believe it when you prove it to me. You know? And a lot of guys don't want to do that, so they leave, right? This is a great example. This guy was just like telling her stories, complaining about dating and oh, I can't find anyone who's faithful. They say these things to hook you. They say these things to get you in there. And a lot of them are doing it. Like, unfortunately, the sad thing, and I do think that this is a thing that needs to be addressed, is that a lot of men, like, they don't even know how to do it the right way. They don't even know how to be themselves and to actually approach someone the right way. They literally are just kind of like trying to put on the right act to get you to do the thing they want. You know? That's part of why when I meet men, I definitely kind of put a degree of distance between myself and them. You know, it actually takes me a little bit of time to be goo goo gaga over anyone. But I try to like put a degree of distance between them because it's one thing to say, it's another to do. I've had a lot of men tell me that they are the most accepting, bravest, strongest, most capable man in the room, only to find out that they were nothing of the sort. Unfortunately, finding that out at the 12th hour is upsetting. You know, like she got into an Uber after having a conversation with him the day before about cheating. And what what had he done? He fucked this girl, told her that it was his friend, obviously with the hope that they would have a threesome. Like, I'm telling you, a lot of times, like, these guys, like, first of all, they can't lie for that long. So if you put distance between you and them, usually the truth will come out. Usually. That's been my observation. And frankly, the right guy is gonna get it. You know? Like, my partners, they all understood my hesitation. They all understood why I wasn't eager to jump into anything with them. They really did. They understood it and they were patient. And I think that's the right kind of person, you know? They're not going to try to force you into something. They're not going to try to trick you into something. They're going to actually see that you are a human being with autonomy, that you are deserving of respect, and that you don't deserve to be tricked. You don't deserve to be lied to. You don't deserve to be misled so that he could get what he wants. And I don't trust, you know, maybe I'm bitter. Maybe I'm bitter. Maybe I'm bitter. Maybe I'm bitter. But I don't trust men enough to not see things in that way. So yeah. And I'm so happy to hear that you guys are resonating with what I'm saying in this video. You know, like I'm trying to, this is an aside, I've been trying really hard to stop doing the thing I've historically done, which is like really delicately sugarcoat some of the things I want to say and just, you know, be blunt about it. Because look, we don't have that much time. And frankly, I think some of this stuff, it lands a lot better if I like just say it. So thank you guys for joining me. As per usual, I want you to stay hot and introspective and always remember and never forget that you are beautiful and you are loved. Bye.